Hey everybody, in this video we're going to learn how to use CloudTruth and Azure Bicep to create a template inside of CloudTruth to store our Azure Bicep configuration. Now, first things first here, we got a few things. We have 4 parameters. We have location, cluster name, node count, and VM size, okay? And then we have our resource here, and what we're doing with our resources, we're going to be creating an AKS cluster. Now, of course, with all infrastructure as code, there are a million different configurations we can put here, but to keep things light and just, keep it kind of focused on the idea of creating a template in CloudTruth with this, we're going to use pretty much the bare minimum. So we have the cluster name, location, the identity type, and then we have all the properties like enabling RBAC, DNS, the agent pool itself, and a few pieces here that are very important, especially the node count and the VM size. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this Bicep configuration, and then I'm going to head over to CloudTruth. Now, I already have a project. It's called Bicep. And then if I go to my parameters here, notice how I have the 4 variables, or the 4 parameters rather. The cluster name, let me open this up a little bit, the location, the node count, and then the VM size. So these parameters exist. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to templates and I'm going to create a new template. I'm going to call it AKS Bicep. I'm going to create that template, and then I'm going to paste our template in here. And notice again how I am using the CloudTruth parameters, which are just curly bracket on each side of the name of the parameter in CloudTruth. So if I go ahead and if I submit this, we can now see that our parameters now have values here. So if we want to update this for each environment, for example, let's take a pretty standard practice, which would be the node count. So if I go to parameters here, and if I go to node count, notice how the default is 2, but let's get a little bit more granular here. In development, we'll probably only want 1. In production, we'll go ahead and we'll give it 3. And then in staging, we'll give it 2. We'll keep it as that default 2. So now at this point, if I go to templates and I go to my Bicep template, and let's say I go to maybe development, for example, we can see that we have 1 node count. If I go to staging, we can see that we have 2 nodes. And then if I go to production, we can of course see that we have 3 nodes. So that's how we can create a template out of a Bicep configuration and utilize CloudTruth to pass in those values for us instead of having a bunch of different parameter files or a bunch of different configurations in our Bicep config for each environment. Thank you so much for watching.